You know how a hungry brain works. When dopamine is low, it prowls, sniffing for sugar, phones, porn, drama, whatever spark hits the receptors. Like a child hammering a broken vending machine. It keeps pressing the same button, hoping for a different taste of sweetness. But what if the sweetness was never in the vending machine? What if it was in the hand that pressed the button? That's the shift we're making right now. Because underneath all that noise, your nervous system runs on elegant mathematics, electrical harmonics. Electricity as the progenitor, consciousness as the field. Your thoughts are waves, your habits, they're the interference patterns. When those patterns are coherent, when purpose and action align, the wave builds amplitude. That's what satisfaction actually is. A wave that resonates cleanly. So as you listen, imagine your attention as a tuning fork. When it chases external noise, scrolls, snacks, whatever, the fork clangs, dull and uneven. When you hold it still and aim it at something meaningful, it hums so deep you can feel it in your chest. That's self-generated dopamine, the chemistry of resonance. And it's wonderfully mechanical. When you take a goal, something you truly care about, something ecologically right for your life, and you break it into steps. Every small step completed releases a pulse of dopamine. Not because you've been fed stimulation, but because you've fed coherence back into your system. Your brain says, yes, we're moving towards something that matters. That's the science of self-reward. Now here's the metaphysics. Electricity collapses into gravity when it forgets its own expansion. Likewise, desire collapses into addiction when it forgets its own direction. Every time you reach outward to fill the inner gap, you create entropic slippage, weak force. Every time you focus inward to build what you want to see in the world, you create strong force, coherent gravity that pulls reality around you. That's not mysticism. That's biophysics dressed as poetry. And notice something. There are moments when you've already done this. When you lost yourself in a project, a workout, a conversation that lit you up. Time disappeared. That's not hyper-focus. That's harmonic lock-in. That's your internal electricity remembering what it's for. You've done it before. You can do it again. In fact, part of you is doing it now just by understanding. Now let that metaphor stretch a little. Imagine your mind as an orchestra. When you chase random stimulation, it's like each instrument practicing a different song. Loud, busy, exhausting. When you breathe, focus, and choose your purpose, the instruments glance at the same sheet music. Suddenly, the noise becomes symphony. That's coherence. That's also what the nervous system feels like when dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin balance correctly. And the trick, this is the secret that scientists and sages both whisper, is to make the rehearsal feel like the performance. To enjoy the process so fully that each measure of progress is music. That's how you hack your own chemistry. The moment you see effort as artistry, your brain gives you the very neurotransmitter you were chasing. Of course, there's karma to ignoring this. When you keep reaching outward for hits of easy pleasure, you build tolerance. You flatten the receptors. The song gets quieter. You end up eating the shadow of your own hunger. But when you generate your own drive, when you link it to to something larger than yourself. You create surplus energy. You become the power plant, not the plug-in. And people feel that. It's magnetic. So here's what your unconscious can do with this. Quietly, after we finish, it can start scanning for the smallest possible places to generate coherence. A clean desk, a finished paragraph, a walk without your phone. Each one a small harmonic stacking. And as they stack, your body learns again what satisfaction actually feels like. It's not manic. It's warm, steady, alive. And as you remember that, you might even smile at the simplicity of it all. Because it's not about fixing anything. It's about tuning. Bringing the instrument back into pitch with itself. The science calls it homeostasis. We'll call it harmonic realignment. Either way, it's the same physics. Waves finding their natural rhythm. And somewhere in that rhythm, the part of you, the one searched everywhere, finally exhales. You stop chasing the next hit because you've become the current itself, electric, alive, at ease. So take a breath. Let that settle where it needs to settle. And as you come back, notice the quiet satisfaction of simply being coherent for a moment. That's the real dopamine hit, the one you build, not borrow.